Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hard Talk USA at Boxing Media Hub, episode 26, and this show is sponsored by Falcon Contracting and Jams Box Media. So, guys, thank you for coming on, and our special guest, Mr. Jean-Pierre Augustin, a.k.a. Kid Creole, a.k.a. Biggest Stepper. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. I mean, obviously meet the crew, my co-host Remy.
How you
Remy,
doing, Jean-Pierre?
there he
Appreciate you coming
is.
on, brother.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And obviously we got two Brits, funnily enough, over your side of the pond, residing in Canada right now. We got the boxing man Brett. Say hello to Jean-Pierre, and also Notorious out there. I mean, Brett's in Canada. What can I say? Oh, they got sense getting over the other side of the pond. That's where all the action is in the boxing world. But listen, let's talk about you, Jean-Pierre, first of all. Man, I'm a big fan of yours. The last time we spoke was last year. I was on Hard Talk USA, another channel. But, you know, what's happening with you, mate? Are you still in the boxing game? Are you still
Yeah.
wanting that big a fight to come your way?
What's that?
You're still looking for a fight to come your way that's
Actually,
suitable for you.
Just got back in the gym. I was taking some time off because I had some stuff I was taking care of. So now I'm just getting back in the mix and getting ready for what is going to be available.
For what is going to be available. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We get to see you back because you got some fans in the UK, Jean-Pierre.
All right,
Can't
all right.
lie. And it'd be good to, especially over here. There's people over here want to see you, fight over here. Some of the British boys, that could possibly be lined up. They haven't fought since 2021, of course. You are a busy man. Understand you've got outside influences in what is it? Film production, filmmaking, music, modeling. Is any of that still going? Is this what's been distracting you, Jean-Pierre?
Yeah, a few different things in the background distracting me, and I got a trucking business that I've been attending to. So I've had a few distractions in the background, but nothing's gonna be distracting me anymore moving forward.
Right. Oh, that's good. I mean, obviously, this explains everything, from a boxing fan's point of view. The man's got distractions. It's as simple as that. And you are a busy man. Obviously, your resume and just looking at you online and what you've been involved in, it's commendable. And I love the work ethic. As Boxing Jams says, would you fuck with the Areola rerun? If not, who would
Absolutely,
you like from the
absolutely,
UK?
110%,
You want that? You want that get
110%,
back?
huh?
You want that get back?
Oh, 110%,
That's what I love to hear.
110%.
Remy, let's bring you in onto this with Jean-Pierre. You were asking me a question just before we come on live
Yeah,
to the viewers.
I wanted to ask you a couple things. First of all, how you doing, bro? I'm hoping
Good,
you're in a great space and you're ready to get back in the ring. Your last
absolutely.
one was a TKO in the third, correct?
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Your last win was a TKO in the fourth or fifth round. Correct?
Yes, in the fifth. Yes.
Yeah. So it's been a while since you've been in the ring. It's been a lot of motion in your division, and at the time where you were more active, I feel like it wasn't as much fights being made. So you
Mm-hmm.
like kind of, to be quite honest, no matter what, you would have been like probably fighting your way into certain positions. But a lot of title shots have eluded a lot of guys in y'all's weight class these past few years. The
Yeah.
belts were kind of held up for a minute. But with Turkey in the equation, I was wondering, have you kind of been like, okay, I really should make sure I get back in the mix and I'm super active because I could get good competition, and I could one or two get some upset wins, and probably put myself in an equation with everyone over at Saudi and making those big bucks. What do you think about that?
Exactly, because there's more talk of Turkey creating some type of league and making fighters more active. And activity has always been the downside of every fighter's career, whether they don't know who they're fighting next, or we don't really have like a proper schedule like a league team does. But with Turkey involved in really getting into the mix, it looks like there's going to be a lot more activity and more stability in the sport to be active and fight 2-3 times a year even.
And I think that's also going to come with more opportunity for guys like yourself who you've been in with a guy like Chris Arreola, and with your last fight being in 2021, things like that only happen to you guys when there isn't much movement going on in the division. I feel like a lot of guys got kind of their careers got clouded with HBO leaving, with Showtime leaving, all these switch ups, all these maneuvering, and fans don't really see that you guys, like, even if y'all wanted to, y'all kind of can't get in certain spots at times. What do you feel like you would need to do in 2025 to put yourself back in the mix?
What was the last part you kind of cut off?
I said, what do you think you could do in 2025 to kind of put yourself back in the mix of where you want to go going forward?
Well, first off, being ready to take anything that does, come to the doorstep, because in the past, I received opportunities that could have been something that would pan out for me, but I just wasn't ready. So for me, number one is maintaining my conditioning year round so that I can jump on opportunities when they are made available.
Yeah, that's very important. Keeping your conditioning throughout, the years that especially since you've been off. Just how far away do you think you are realistically from your first fight, Jean-Pierre?
Honestly, I'd like to say April, May.
April, May, good. Not too far away.
Yeah, no, I want to make sure I'm in the right shape to go in there, especially not having fought, in about almost 4 years.
Absolutely. And look, we have a special guest from us across the pond. It's Artman, no less himself. How you doing?
What's going on, brothers? I'm doing really well.
Thank you very much for coming.
I'm doing well on this side of the world.
Thank you very much for coming through to Mr. Neutral's HardTalk USA for the UK and the US fans. It's an absolute honour to have you. And if anyone who doesn't know who Artman is, I don't know where your head's been. Welcome to the show. We've just been talking to Jean-Pierre, a heavyweight, the Kid Creole, Haitian. I've heard you praise the Haitian boxers before, Artman. What have you got to say to Jean-Pierre?
Yeah, shout out to Jean-Pierre. But first off, shout out to my customers and my supporters in Newcastle, England, and London. Shout out to you guys in Newcastle.
Let's clap that shit up, man.
Yep, thank you guys for shopping artmanapparel.com. But shout out to this brother here.
Yeah, make sure you guys check him out.
I haven't really seen him fight like that. So, but yeah.
Well, he's hoping to be back out April, May. Well, at least be ready by then. Hopefully a fight will be arranged. Jean-Pierre, you got half a decent record there, Remind us what it is. Is it 16-1, 18-1? I can't remember which.
It's 19-1, right?
Yeah,
18-1.
18-1, right.
What weight class you fighting?
Heavyweight.
Oh, okay. With the big boys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
Now, if the phone was ring tomorrow, Jean-Pierre, from the UK, because, a lot of people try to say, match up. As James is putting the chat there. Derek Chisora. No, you just saw Derek win there the other week.
Yeah,
is that
and
a
he looked
fight?
good too.
He did look good against Soto, didn't he? He did. He done the job on him.
Yeah, he did. And I thought Wallen was going to come out a little more, aggressive and be able to keep Chisora off of him, but Chisora did his thing.
Yeah, Brett, let's bring you into this. You know, bring the Brett as well across the pond there in Canada. Jean-Pierre, I've just asked you the question about British boxing. Who would you know the Brits quite well, who would you suggest he comes back in a fight against? You know, bearing in mind he's been out since 2021. You can't get that Ariola fight, but there's a phone call. Which British boxer do you think would be just right?
Well, if I can just back it up one tiny little bit, Mr.
Yeah,
Neutral,
yeah, man.
Ask him, has the mindset taken? Because obviously, you know, when the fighters act very, very active, you can look at it two ways. Inactivity can kill a boxer. Inactivity can kill a boxer, but it seems like you look fresh, you're ready to go again. Have you switched your mindset in the break that it gave you time to kind of, you know, put more clarity on the next steps for your career? And when that time is ready, that's the time you're ready to kick on.
I mean, definitely, you know, before, you know, I think I might have been kind of not burnt out, but maybe needed some time off with the schedule that I had previously. And the time off definitely helped me reshift and reset my mindset to, you know, move forward and be able to do what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so my question would be to you, out of the, I mean, there's the crop of heavyweights across the world, really, but specifically, Mr. Neutral asked me about any British heavyweights. Who would you have your eye on as a potential opponent? You know, whether it's you need that warm up fight first, or you're ready to get straight back into the mix.
Definitely Dylan White. I've always liked his style, and I definitely want to get in with him before he's out. Chisora, another one. Who else is out there? Damn, my
Joe
mind's running blank
Joyce.
right now.
Maybe a Joe Joyce,
I mean,
Johnny Fisher,
Adelaide.
Dave Allen.
Who?
David Adelaide.
Oh yeah. There's him too.
Yeah, and
There's,
there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Fabio's on the come up. Fabio Wardley. He's.
I feel like every heavyweight's out there now.
It's a big time.
And you feel that you can mix it up with these guys, no problem, because you know, obviously, with what Brett said about you have that mental ring rust.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that it's like riding a bike? As soon as you get back in that gym, boy, this shit just comes right back to me.
I mean, it's all muscle memory. You know, you've been doing it for so long, you don't really forget much. It's just basically getting your timing and your rhythm back. You know?
Yeah.
It's nothing that you haven't done before, or it's not brand new to you, you know?
I feel you. Well, Notorious, welcome once again, sir. Another Brett over in Canada. Amazing
Thank
stuff.
you very much.
I imagine 2 in 1 night. Before we move on to the next subject, anything you want to say to Jean-Pierre?
No, not really.
Notorious?
Oh yeah. I'm not too familiar with Jean-Pierre. I haven't seen him fight, so I can't really comment on his fights. But I would say that if he's had like a 3-4 year break, and he's coming back now, then maybe someone like a Tete, or like a sort of a Dempsey McKean type opponent to get yourself back in there with. And then if you're 19-1, that's a good record. That's a very good record, especially at heavyweight. How many knockouts do you have?
13.
30. So there you go, above 10. So I think opponent on that level, and then in the next fight, go for someone, not like in the top 10, but like in the top, say, 15 or 20.
I mean, if you guys, you understand when you see matchups and you see a guy with a resume and he's 18-1 with 13 knockouts, 66%, you go, oh, like, regardless of the opposition of what, and there's a lot of criticism. Who you fought? Oh, I hate that rubbish. It's the manner in which
it's the manner. Yeah. But I'm just saying
the manner.
I'm just saying, like an opponent like Tete or like Dempsey McKean, because they, like Tete is fought White in his last fight, and Dempsey
Yeah,
McKean has fought Moses Atomo. So I think
yeah,
it's a good fight to come back to, and then in the next fight, go for someone who's a little bit better.
Right.
yeah. Was it? On you go, John.
What's up?
On you go, mate. You were saying.
I think it was me that was jumping. I was just
Oh,
going to ask
sorry,
you,
Brett.
was
Yeah.
that part of the break, Jean-Pierre, like the frustration with matchups? Because, like, say, having a record like that, people are going to want to swerve you a little bit and don't necessarily want to mix it. So, was that part of like the frustration?
Yeah, because there were some matchups that were agreed to verbally that you start getting ready for, and then you find out that they went in another direction, or you're just sideline waiting for an opportunity for another guy that might just want a different direction. So it's really all about having the right people behind you and the right team to be able to secure matchups for you and keep you active.
Yep.
Great stuff, right, Jean-Pierre? We'll move on. Thank you for that. We hope to see you. Stick around. Obviously for the duration of the show. There's still lots to debate and talk about the heavyweight scene. But as far as it will leave you alone with the questions, sort of thing. So it's all about joining in with the lads now about the subjects of tonight. And the first subject is, guys, moving on, and is Friday night, Madison Square Gardens. We saw main event time was Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Baranchek. I want to go through some of the card with you guys, because there's a few fighters and a few fights that actually caught my eye on that undercard. And the first one I want to go to is De Jesus, who beat Brian Santiago by TKO in the first round. Was anybody in this panel see that fight first and foremost?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that one.
No, that's no, I didn't see that one.
That
Right,
was pretty deep on the undercard, I guess.
Right, is Tokyo, is it the last Olympics? Tokyo Olympian De Jesus beat Brian Santiago, who was 1-1 in the first round. This one's keeping an eye on this guy. As we get to see this pattern with Olympians, these guys you're gonna catch your eye. This guy's caught my eye in his debut, and I'm looking forward to his path. So we're moving on from him. Let's go to Abdullah Mason versus Jaimes in that performance there. Let's start with you, Remy. The Abdullah Mason fan, of course, as we all are. Jaimes, we didn't know a lot about. Did you see the fight?
Yeah, and I think Abdullah is kind of like Abdullah's in a peculiar spot. He did a lot what I thought he would. He of course, he showed cleaner work than Rolly did against him because he fought Romero too. And I would say Abdullah looked better against him. He looks like a more fluid fighter in general. So that wasn't really hard for him to do. But I think that Abdullah is a really interesting prospect. He's kind of coming on the tail end of a lot going on at Top Rank, where they lost Shakur, they lost Bud Crawford, so they're like looking for stars. Them matching him up with Giovanni Cabrera is like very interesting to me. I don't know if you've seen that. He's about to fight Cabrera next. I'm really interested in that. He showed a lot of creases. He showed a lot of like dog, and I really, really can't wait to see him in a step up.
Yeah, this kid likes to get out 5-6 times a year. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 live in 2024, but successful nonetheless in all of them. Prospect to the year once again. Notorious, you watched the Abdullah Mason performance yourself.
Yes.
It was impressive considering he was down twice in his last fight. That's the sort of things I was looking for. See if he'd rectified that, but boy, did he look good.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you get dropped twice early on in your career, then it's a good thing because it shows everyone what you're about. If you can get back up and you can make it through. So he was tested, his chin was tested, and he passed. So yeah, this fight, he was brilliant. Very agile. Very fast, and he used his ring IQ very well. Um, yeah, Abdullah definitely has a bright future. I saw a clip of him after the fight saying that he will not fight his blood brothers, so that means he'll fight anyone else. So I like that about him. He's willing to fight everyone, like Shakur, Keyshawn, and Tank and all those guys. And when he gets to that stage, so he's making all the right moves. So yeah, very very good prospect.
Thank me. I quite agree with that because I watched a documentary right before the undercard started on Sky Sports. I don't know if anybody else caught it, about Abdullah Mason. And what struck me is obviously he's a very religious, respectful, God-fearing guy. His whole team around him he's had since the young days. And, as his father was explaining, they don't cuss at each other. These are lifelong friends. It's something I've never even seen before, this kind of lifestyle. And the people that the boxers associate with. These were all close friends of his. Never, ever laid hands on each other or cussed each other out or anything like that. So respectful. And he brings an aura. And this is what I was looking for. That aura. Now, Brett, did you see that aura about him in his performance?
I've that was thick. Friday the 14th was thick into me, still trying to give the gaffer a piece of me. So I've seen the main fight, but I did see the highlights. And yeah, what you're saying about aura, a friend of yours in the show, G Chain, absolutely raves about him being the next biggest thing. He has him down. So I wanted to ask Remy, because I know Remy, you're hot on him. How good can he be? Is he the next special thing? Because he, like you say, he showed a bit of character there, getting up off the canvas in his last fight, and then putting on a dominant performance like that. It was, very poised and special.
I think Abdullah has, like, right now he's showing the total package. Abdullah can go what I call the Sugar Ray Leonard route. You know what I'm saying? Where he he's not going to be the guy that's doing all the loud talking. He's going to go in there, perform, give you exciting fights. You're going to see that tenacity, that dog, that will to win in the fights. But outside of the ring, you're going to get a gentleman, like Neutral said, a God-fearing young man. He's Muslim. They're very devout in their faith. He's one of those type of guys. He's straight up and down. You know what you're getting with him. He seems to have a really strict honor code. And what I really like about him, again, is like what Notorious said. He is willing to take on all comers. He's not shying away from the idea of fighting Keyshawn, Shakur, anyone, even if they're giving him advice. And that's just how this goes. I do think there's a bit too much of the this guy's my friend. The talks are happening too much, not more so as the only real example we have is Keyshawn and Shakur. But I think Abdullah is a very, 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 very interesting prospect. He's going to be somebody that 140 and maybe up to 154 has to look out for.
I absolutely agree, Remy. Absolutely agree. Jean-Pierre, he's still there.
Yep, he's there.
You watched the before we move on to the next one, and I'll come to you as well again on that. But you watched Abdullah Mason.
Yes, I have.
That performance to me spoke volumes. Step up in class, and particularly what he said afterwards about I'll only fight my blood. I wouldn't. The only people I wouldn't fight is my blood brothers, indicating that other boxers are too ready to. Is it used this
I'm not with that.
excuse?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all bullshit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, everybody needs to be fighting. If you ain't related, and hell, even if you don't consider them boxers, but Jake Paul and Logan Paul are willing to fight each other. So
Yeah.
come on, like, all this
Well
best
said.
friend bullshit.
Yeah.
I ain't. Come on.
I
I
hate
ain't with
that.
that.
It's like
That's
Yeah, I
just
used to want to see the
denying
Charlo brothers
fans.
fight.
yeah, no, I'm not with that. I'll
Oh
fight anyone.
dear, oh dear.
I could care less. As
Talking
long
of
as the
fighting
check's right,
anyone.
I'll fight.
Well, as long as the check's right, is a very good thing. Because Jam's boxing chat has asked Jean-Pierre if he come over to the UK to visit Moses Atuma if the chance arose. I would imagine the money being right as well. You know, it'd
As
be
long as that
very
check's right, I ain't saying no to shit.
It's right. It's right. That's what I love to
Well,
hear
hold up,
about that.
pause. As long as there ain't no gay shit. Let's
Yeah,
make that
you
clear.
know what I mean. Let's make this the boxing ring and the boxing ring only, sir. Now, moving on to the next fight in that card, obviously I want to talk about is Jan Anderson versus Callias.
Yeah,
Brett, did you see that one?
I did. I mean, and
Jump
to
here.
be
Right.
fair, it was his first fight back after being stopped. I think people were a little harder on him.
Yeah.
He was probably collecting the pieces mentally, to move forward. I didn't see anything that was too out of the, oh my God, he's completely finished and washed to, lose faith in the guy.
Would you make of the after his post fight comments?
What were they? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, do you know what? I can't remember now. Anyone else help me out here? John Anderson made some post-fight comments, which would suggest that he, again, his heart and his head's not in it. Someone
Yeah.
help me out here.
I mean, if he's just doing it for money, at least he's keeping it a buck.
That's true.
He knows what he wants out of it, and I think people's mentalities are, if they hear people say stuff like that, that they're really not into it for whatever. No one's fighting for their fucking health. You're fighting for money.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's really
Brett,
the only thing I can
Yeah,
say out of that. But I ain't fighting for no other reason but the money. So if anyone got a problem with him saying that, they're just some dumbasses, because no fighter's fighting for nothing else but money.
he looked uninterested. He ran out of the ring without an interview.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably didn't want to answer, the same repetitive questions that he knows he's going to get regarding his last fight, because that's where the focus is going to be. He knows what he's going to get himself into. He ain't really trying to hear it.
Yeah, I can understand. Brett, from your point of view, is it disappointing that Anderson hasn't progressed as well as we'd all hoped he had, considering previously he's been very highly regarded. Maybe some of that love is not there for him much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because 2 fights prior, everyone was talking about him coming and stepping and taking the throne at some point. I mean, you have to ask the question with him. He's gifted. He's very talented, and he can put his shots together nicely at a certain level. What I feel like now, though, obviously we saw him break in that Roy Jones clip where he's like, the pressure's too much. And Roy was trying to bring him back round. If you remember that clip where Roy's like saying, he's like, why me? And he's like, this, you have to step up when it's your time to step up. I would imagine anybody of any sort now, having seen the psychological dips that he has, because he is a young lad, really, they're going to make every press conference, every fight super uncomfortable for him. They're going to jump on him and they're not going to let him have his way. Ultimately, will he bounce back from this? I don't know. But as Jean-Pierre said, if they're still paying him his big checks, he's just going to keep turning up and doing his thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Remy, previous to this fight, coming up against Bacoli, we thought he would do the business. When that happened, that fight, did you think that what's happened now is just what you expected, or did you expect him to do better?
I don't know if you remember, bro, but on the show we had our prediction show for that fight, and I chose Bacole. I thought that I kind of predicted what ended up happening, bro. We'll have to go back and clip it, but I was saying then that
I
he has
know
the
you're right.
tools.
Yeah.
and I'd like to think that he would win that fight, but I felt like Bacole would win because I remember when he was dancing at the face off and everything like that, and I was questioning his mentality, and I was like going in there with a guy like Bacole who has so much to lose. It played out exactly how I said on that prediction show, and what I thought was always going to be his, the thing working against him the most was strictly his intangibles, his mentality towards boxing. And it's not to say, I just understand the psychology of everything he does, but I've just never seen anyone who displays what he displays get to that level and sustain it. And I think when he lost against his bubble was burst, I think he was kind of thinking really he's a young guy, so he has a young mindset, a young guy's mindset. He's making money, he's having fun, but I think that triggered that fight, that loss triggered him kind of like, oh, like I don't have the world in my palm, like I got stopped, and he's having to ask questions of himself that he probably hasn't had to ask before in the boxing ring, So I think Anderson, I don't want to see him against a killer anytime soon. That guy he fought against, I don't think he had no business. From a talent perspective, he shouldn't have had no business doing some of the things he was doing against Jared, bro. Like I was really kind of like, wow, like, and then the things that Jared was saying in the corner when they were trying to give him advice. I know Jean-Pierre was saying like we shouldn't, sell our stock on him, but that was what concerned me more than what I actually saw in the ring, because I seen what how he was rejecting his corner's advice, how he was responding to it, and then how he was going and looking against this guy who, gave marginal resistance, and he should have been able to get out of there a lot more easy and just like, I don't know, man. And I just think Jared should kind of, take more step-up fights, stay dialed back for a little bit and really regain his confidence, because I'm not sure if he can hang with the big boys, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a question still to be asked. I mean, the only thing I'll give in Jared's defense is from a young age he's been the head of his family, and and it's his job to provide for his family, and however he sees fit is up to him. But if I want to be super unkind, I'm going to bring in Notorious now. Right? Sorry to do that to you, mate. I was only joking. Let's be harsh on Martin Bacoli here. Does this performance by, let's see, a less than focused Jared Anderson, does this not bode well for Martin Bacoli and the hype that's been going on around him now? Have we been undersold?
So yeah, I mean, in a sense, we have been undersold, but going back to like Jared Anderson, he has been at the head of his family for quite some time, and he wants to make money, and he wants to provide for his family, which is all great stuff. But in terms of like heavyweight boxing, I've never really like thought he was gonna do much. And even taking the Bacoli fight, I mean, it takes some balls to actually get in with this guy, because he's big, he's strong, right? Um, Other than that, he doesn't really have much else, but he's big and strong. Now, with the loss to Bacoli, those those blows to the head and that knockout reminded me of when George Foreman knocked out Joe Frazier twice. That is the type of knockout that it reminded me of, and it's hard to come back from those kind of fights. It takes a lot of heart. It takes like a special type of fight to come back. Um,
Yeah.
In his last fight, he just seemed like uninterested. He wasn't listening to his corner. Um, there was a point where he was getting hit with a lot of punches, and if there was more time to the round, he may have got stopped. Um, so all these things, like it it just paints a picture that he's not really interested. It could be that he's just making a comeback, and he needs to um hype himself up for like a good opponent. But to me, like, not giving an interview as well. I mean, I understand you may not want to, answer, questions of the media, but in boxing, like, you need the media to sell tickets. You need the media to, be a big star, right? You need the media to get a bigger paycheck, right?
Yeah.
So he is young, he will learn, but if he wants to take this game seriously, then he needs to definitely switch a few things
I
up.
understand that, but there is a side, that in defense that would say, well, he's not paid to do that after fight. That's a prerogative. Uh, given post fight media interviews. I've seen it before. People walk out the ring straight out of the stadium. I guess he just wanted to protect himself from many, probably impending, harsh media criticism. But we'll never know. It's one of them. He just adds to the mystery. But he did win, and let's hope he, going forward, he gets a fight and comes in with the right frame of mind and he's 100%. Because at the end of the day, Brett, we want to see 100% Jared Anderson back in that ring. I don't want to see another 78% Jared Anderson because he's not doing himself justice, and B, he's not doing his fans justice.
Listen, mate, we're all fans of the sport, and we're, there's no narratives here. If he's a young, talented American big heavyweight, we want to see him do well. Of course, we do. But ultimately, he's going to have to make some changes outside of the ring. There's various different stories that he's not living overly right. He's enjoying his money, and a young fighter might do that. So he'll either have that moment where somebody gets hold of him, really gets hold of him. You'd think someone like Roy could have kept him on the straight and narrow, but someone will get hold of him, and he might come again. He might shock us all. He's going to have to rebuild, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Mr. Neutral, is that win's a win. He's got the win.
Yeah.
America doesn't have any other heavyweights right now, so
they do.
Well, not in the top 10, but yet they are up and coming.
No.
But I'm saying that Anderson, like, he's one of the ones where eyes on him.
He was the next generation, wasn't he? He was that next generation.
Yeah. I mean, he can still get back there. I'm not saying he cannot, because
let's hope he does.
He lost against Bacoli, cool, but now he's got the win. Now he needs to push on and move forward.
Absolutely. Just a couple of things before the last on that card. Obviously, Nico Ali Walsh got beat again. Not good for him. Some say he needs to, either pack it in or become a jungler. Hang it up. We had Xander Zayas against the German guy Spomer. Less than impressive. I thought he did okay, guys. Decent performance. And this Spomer is one of them. You get too stupid and nowhere to quit, sort of thing. His face was just a mess, and it was just for me, it was easy work for his eyes. But were you impressed? Anything to say about that?
When it comes to Xander Zayas, like, I'm actually, you were talking to me, right, Neutral?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I think Xander Zayas is getting moved kind of, like, I'm a little curious as to, like, when they plan to step him up for real, because, like, this is kind of like, journeyman number, about 10 now. And this is not to take anything from Zayas. I do see a lot of athleticism. I see a lot of potential, but I know Top Rank, they want to cultivate his fan base in the right way and put him in a matchup where, it'll be something that's fireworks there. Maybe him versus a Virgil, something like that. That's what I'm interested in. When it comes to guys like him, when I see them in fights like this now, I'm gonna be real, especially I'm just go ahead and let it all out right now. I'm kind of tired of Top Rank moving these guys like this, to be real with you.
Yeah.
they overdo the them fighting guys below their level to a degree, and then they have guys like Tio where they step them back, and he ends up fighting guys like Steve Claggett. You know, like it's like baffling as far as some of the matchmaking goes, and I'm kind of wondering when Xander is going to be in there with someone. It's a couple guys that come to mind. Xander, Emiliano, like when are they going to have fights that kind of match what they're showing? Like they're pulverizing guys. Like you're putting them against guys that they're pulverizing for 6 fights in a row. We want to see them against somebody that's going to give them real resistance. That's kind of where I'm at with Xander right now.
But do you see any caveats in his way? Like he can't get hold of any big names. He has to keep taking these, lower end fights.
To a degree, because Top Rank really doesn't have many marquee fighters at 54. So, but the thing is, that's kind of like a no. That's like a no excuse nowadays because Top Rank is involved directly with Riyadh. So if there was someone that Bob wanted to put Xander in with, he could easily facilitate that. They said the Virgil fight was something that was a possibility. Xander framed it as though Virgil kind of sidestepped the fight. Even though I think, of course, Madrimov is a tougher fight, so I'd never agree with that opinion. If Xander felt like he was the tougher matchup, I would say that's yet to be seen. So I really believe that Xander he has the talent, but when they move guys that way, I kind of question what do they see to not be putting them in with certain guys right now.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the main event now. Keyshawn Davis.
I've been waiting to talk about this. I was really excited about this.
Remy, take me through that four rounds.
Well, I really liked what I seen from Keyshawn really early. I'm like the first thing that was glaring to me was the size difference. Baranchik looked like a teenage boy fighting a bully in there to me.
A man boy.
Like the muscle mass.
The age was the other way around. It was mad.
Yeah, exactly. I could see a big size difference. The athleticism gap. Baranchik was awkward, but the awkwardness, like it. Keyshawn's so conventional. He's so compact and tight. His work is so technically sound. Like a lot of what Baranchik was doing against Navarrete had absolutely no effect on Keyshawn at all. Keyshawn, he found the range pretty quickly, and as soon as he found range quickly, he started manhandling Baranchik. And you could see as soon as they locked horns, he was a lot stronger. So it was just kind of like a if and when type of thing. And the third round, Baranchik tried to come back. He tried to get some good work in, but nothing was really affecting Keyshawn. And in the fourth round, Keyshawn just went after him. And you heard Bomac in there giving him very, very great advice. And all I was thinking about after the fight was, I know everyone's looking at it like it's just Baranchik and everybody's been questioning Keyshawn's resume. Then Duarte beat Madueno, so people were talking. But I honestly feel like Keyshawn's one of the most exciting fighters in or around 135 pounds in boxing, and he has a very, very interesting trajectory. He got a great team. His skill set is it reminds me so much of Terrence Crawford. When he finished Baranchik, it looked like a Terrence Crawford knockout. Like it looked so much like Terrence Crawford.
Yeah,
he's not as fluid as him with his footwork, but the technique, it was there. So I think Keyshawn is going to be a problem, bro. I think he's going to be a problem.
Yes. No.
Yeah, I agree.
Jean-Pierre.
I definitely agree with his assessment. Keyshawn's definitely.
I'm about to bring this question of friendship and loyalty when Keyshawn has had 13 fights now. He's now the WBO champion, but he is in the I won't fight my friends club. Is he going to become a problem with him and Shakur Stevenson? He's going to become a problem in holding up the division in 2025.
I mean, bro, this is something that I said before he fought Pedraza. I was seeing the performances, and I started noticing the rumblings. It's not even about who has more meritocracy to get that Tank Davis fight or to get that Lomachenko fight. Keyshawn's just in a better position than Shakur at this point. With Shakur's performances against Edwin and Artem, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't enough for people to really, run home about. But that performance that Keyshawn had against Pedraza, he's knocking out common opponents with Tank Davis. He won the belt in spectacular fashion. He sold out his hometown. Tank Davis
So
brought him up.
he's all there, ready, right for unification. Jean-Pierre,
Exactly.
are we going to be denied it because of these friendships?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'd love to see a Davis versus Davis fight. I would probably favor Keyshawn in that fight, to be honest with you, only because of what he's been able to show so far so early in his career. Do they make that fight happen? I don't know, because the ball's in Tank's court. And, I also can't blame Tank, because if he's able to do what he's doing the way he's doing it right now, why put yourself at risk just for, people's questioning and whatever? He's doing great as he is, but does he care about legacy? Does he care about making it to the Hall of Fame? That's another question, and only he could answer that.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Brett, what do you think? Do you think after 13 fights and becoming the WBO champion, he looked really good? Do you think he could avoid all this issue and move up to 140 and start the legacy of a two-weight world champion?
Well, it's like you and Remy both said. He looked big in the ring, didn't he? He looked massive. So that he'll be able to carry that weight. And what I was massively impressed with early doors, he just let him know how strong he was going to be, and all that jumping in that he did, and he was just walking him across the ring and then he just knew. And it was almost like the Terence Crawford reference is very interesting, because Crawford takes those 2 or 3 rounds to download the information, doesn't he? And then goes, and it's almost like he had that little pulling mash and dragging across the ring.
Yes.
And he could see those ribs. He tapped him a few times. He could see those ribs, and then boy, did he take him out in big fashion. I'll be honest. Of course, I've followed his career, but I haven't got excited about him until on Friday night. I'm woke up to him, and I really want to see. Hopefully, the politics don't get in the way, and we can see these big fights, because they're mouth-watering fights, all of them.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I'm one of them who is a believer now because of his last 2 fights, but especially this one now. I was like, no one's done that, Baranchik. I see a lot of criticism online, notorious, about Baranchik being trash and all the rest of it. Can people not just accept that was an exceptional performance in beating one Dennis Baranchik? Are these just silly haters that are hating on Keyshawn because they're fans of other boxers?
Yeah. I mean, that could be the case. The thing is with a champion being like 35, 36, and then you have a young dog coming up and he's fighting for the title in his 13th fight. A lot of people are going to say a lot of things, but it's whoever has the belt. Whoever has the belt, whoever's willing to give this young fighter an opportunity. And it was Baranchik, and I mean, he was out of his depth, of course. Keyshawn was brilliant as always, and like Brett said, that I haven't really been excited about him until this fight. And in this fight, he used the ring generalship. He was aggressive with the body shots. His positioning was nice as well when he got close to him. And he was brilliant. And you could see like the the Bomac effect, as people say, the Bomac effect. And it's all well and good when you choose a trainer like Bomac, but you need to be a good fighter to be able to perform in the ring. It's like Amir Khan. He went to Bomac, but he can't do the things that Bomac fighters do. You have to be like a certain type of fighter to do that, and Keyshawn, he did brilliant, and yeah, I think like he should try and make a fight with the other champions next, because I think like he's at that level now where he can go on and become like a two belt holder, maybe more, and then move up in weight. But if you can't get a fight with Tank Shakur or Lomachenko if he comes back, then he should move up.
Turkey might have to get involved here. Like there might have to be some stupid money that's put down on the
Most
table.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Most
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Especially with Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Keyshawn is like a very, very important piece to what Top Rank's doing. So for them to put him in anything, it's gonna have to be really worthwhile for him and them in the grand scheme of stuff, because he's like a very pivotal piece to whatever they're gonna do going forward, for sure, for sure.
But
Yeah,
I, but
Remy.
but I also think that if uh, if Riyadh season offer Keyshawn a good deal to fight like Tank or Shakur, then I think Keyshawn will accept. He's not gonna kind of play hard to get. I think he just wants to get the belts, and he wants to be in big fights. But with the Tank saying that he's gonna retire this year, and is playing these kind of games, I'm not sure if Turkey can get Tank to play ball to fight the fights.
Yeah, this is the caveats that I'm thinking of. Is I see it as this, right? Keyshawn, for me, is going to have a frustrating time at 135 right now. After this win, because he has just entered the big leagues.
Yeah.
He has entered the stakes to get the Tank fight, which he wasn't in that stakes before becoming WBO champion. There's talks of William Zepeda, and Baranchik getting that fight before Keyshawn Davis. Now that he's entered that fray, there is a problem. Will Tank consider Keyshawn Davis his top rank following blah, 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 Remy? It's going to be a bigger selling point than just saying, well, you know what, I've made enough money, I'll retire for a couple of years right now. But that'll take time during the course of 2025. Lomachenko's still undecided. There could be a retirement there. Then there's going to be eliminators, blah, blah, blah. Shakur Stevenson is a friend. This is, for me, a no-brainer. He's going to
Neutral.
140, Remy.
Neutral.
He's going.
I think it's not as hard as you think. I think stuff is. I think it's actually happening the opposite, bro. I think like random doors and like it's like a path is clearing out for Keyshawn. Really, that's kind of what I think has happened in the past year. Shakur leaving Top Rank was the first domino to fall. Once that happened, it allowed Keyshawn to kind of that power vacuum of whatever air Shakur is taking up in the room, it's Keyshawn's now. So then you look at everything going on with Tio, him deciding to be such an adversary to Top Rank. Now they got their other star is they're wrestling with him, right? Keyshawn is the one that's doing what they ask. You have Jared, he loses, you right? Jared took a loss, so now Jared's in a rebuilding stage. Then Richard is still, he's still on the come up. Keyshawn is the main fixture for them right now on the men's side of the young guys, right? And to boot, he has a better style. So Tank can't say, oh, I don't like his style. This is actually the perfect style for me to match up with. Tank can't say he's not selling. He just sold out his hometown. His name is building. He's with Bomac. He can't make any excuse without it seeming weird already. And Keyshawn's calling his name. He had to admit that Keyshawn is looking more excited than Shakur. That was very telling to me, given that Tank likes to hold on to his praise for anybody, especially guys around his division. For him to say that about Keyshawn made me think that Tank knows that Keyshawn may be the one to build himself up to a strong B-side to him, to where the money will be commanded. And Lomachenko is an extremely big X factor, because he could be Top Rank might, go in the bank for him. That's what I'm thinking will happen, Brett and Neutral and Notorious Bros. I'm thinking that Top Rank will say, look, Loma, we'll pay you to fight our guy. You know, come on, give him that that shot at the throne. Give him the opportunity to fight you. We're gonna pay you really handsomely if this is gonna be your last fight. And if he gets that fight, Tank.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
agree. I couldn't agree
I
anymore.
was going to say, well, do you agree?
I couldn't agree anymore, Remy. You've absolutely nailed it there, mate. Because the reality is, they're going to all get to a point where they can't keep turning things down. And the reality is that we're getting there now. We've got all these killers all sat there looking at each other, and no one's making a move. Keyshawn, as he said, he'll fight anybody. He wants to fight. Bring the smoke on. And I think that the Loma fight makes a lot of sense commercially.
Absolutely.
Commercially,
Logically, the Top Rank, all in house, PPV.
And think about it, Neutral. What better way to put Keyshawn over? This would be his fight to put him over. Lomachenko is gonna make more money. I think they will tell Keyshawn, look, you're it's unification. You're the B side though. Go ahead and let Loma, get 60%, maybe, something like that to make sure
60-40
to take the fight. And if he takes that fight, Keyshawn is out of here. Don't let him. Let's say Loma is on the back nine for real, because he looked great against George. But let's say when he goes in against Keyshawn, he's on that back nine for real, and we see someone really dominate Lomachenko. Devin wasn't able to do it. Teofimo wasn't able to do it. Salido, being honest, he didn't really even beat Lomachenko to me. But those three guys all had undecisive wins against Lomachenko, because some people even thought Lomachenko beat Teofimo, and he had a shoulder injury. If Keyshawn is able to go in there and dominate Lomachenko, Tank will be. Tank will. I would imagine
all
he'd
over
get a little jealous.
Tank will be all over it. But he come out. If Notorious, if he was to Tank was to retire after the Lamont Roach fight, and then like Tyson Fury-esque, I'm going to retire now. Blah blah blah. See you later, guys. Thank you very much. All the rest of it. Then later on, it turns out the Top Rank have this in-house super fight, mega fight. Keyshawn Davis, WBO champion versus IBF champion Lomachenko, right? Brilliant affair. Keyshawn Davis wins. Is Remy right that is the logical fight for Tank to come out and say every time and say, right, I'm here, Keyshawn, let's do it. Floyd style. Remember 2009?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Most definitely. I think that it needs to something needs to happen like that for Tank to actually or wake up. Right now he's in a prime division, and he's got Shakur, he's got Loma, he's got Keyshawn now, he's got Tio. Why don't you fight these people? Why are you fighting Lamont Roach? It doesn't make any sense. And this fight was postponed 2 times, 3 times.
No, it was only postponed once. It was only postponed once.
Whatever it is. I mean, once, but it's happening in March now.
You weren't happy with the initial scheduling of the
it was supposed to be in
course.
December in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever it is, no one gives a fuck about that fight. We know who's going to win, right? We want to see these fights, and it's not even Tank. He's 35, 36. I think he's 29, 30 years old. He's in his prime, and him talking about retirement and stuff. Yeah, it might be, mind games. Who knows? But I think something needs to happen for him to wake up, because all these top fighters have fought on a Riyadh season card, and they have got paid very well. And Tank will get paid very well. I'm not sure what else he wants, because even with this Shakur and Schofield fight, there could have been a chance where he could have fought Shakur. There might have been a chance for them to make the fight, but he's just not willing to, right? So I think Keyshawn now coming into the division and winning a belt, he Tank may look at that and think, I fancy my chances against him. I may not be Loma, or I may not be Shakur, but I might be able to beat Keyshawn. So who knows? But if he retires now after this, Roach fight, then it's going to be a very underwhelming, career for me.
Yeah,
I
I
just want
hear
to
you.
add to what he said really quick. Notorious,
Yeah.
I think that
So
I think it's more of a scope thing. So I don't have any issue with Tank talking about retirement just because like I got a little info on his backstory. He's been boxing for 23 years straight, bro. So like him saying he's retiring isn't him saying he's done and calling it a career. He even said he just wants to step away from the sport briefly just to kind of recenter himself and just, live normal life for a bit. But I think it's too much money on the table, right? So the idea of him leaving, there's 3 to 5 fights he can have that could get him into the 400, maybe $500 million bracket, possibly. And I'm saying if these fights reach their ceiling and they happen when they could happen, and I'm just for conversation's sake saying they get as big as they possibly can. We got Devin Haney, we got Ryan Garcia rematch, and we got Shakur, and then you throw in Keyshawn, and you maybe can throw in a Teofimo Lopez, or maybe even Inoue, right? Maybe even, let's just say for conversation's sake, those are the possible fights. I know he wouldn't leave that money on the table. Like nobody would. It's too much money on the table for him to leave.
Yeah.
With Keyshawn getting this belt, this basic. Oh, I'm sorry, Neutral. Were you saying something?
I was just gonna say, but because the belts are so fractured amongst 4 different guys, the the Baranchik fight, it doesn't alter the landscape of the belts itself. We're no closer to a unification, whether it's Keyshawn or Baranchik who won that belt.
It's great that Keyshawn has the belt now, though, Neutral. That's the thing, Like,
does
it
that
wasn't him beating
favor the
Baranchik.
American? Does that favor him or hinder him? Though
it actually favors him now because he has a bargaining chip. I think he has a bargaining chip now.
Okay.
On top of the fact that they gotta. You said that the belts being fractured is a bad thing, but I think with Turkey it's not anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of not anymore, depending on who has the last belt and if that guy is the money fight. And it's Tank. Tank is already discussed. I seen in the Little Yachty interview. He had an interview with the rapper Little Yachty. His podcast is Safe Place. He said that he's willing to go, but with the Devin Haney situation in particular, he felt like Turkey basically he took Devin in as his guy. It's like, so you're coming to fight my guy type thing.
Right. See, this is the position that Canelo was in, Brett. That people were thinking that Turkey would not be successful in convincing Canelo to give up everything, concessions, etc., and accept a deal. Is this the similar sort of thinking with Tank's going to have to overcome with Turkey, or vice versa?
It's very interesting that 3 of the biggest players in commercial boxing, Canelo said, "Fuck you, I'm going my own way. I'm not playing your tune. I'll do it my way." Yeah. Tyson Fury's retired, but whatever we think about Fury in terms of markability, people are going to tune in and watch him.
Oh, absolutely.
And now he's Tank saying one more fight and then I'm going to go. For me, it's trying to put, a lot of the times it's trying to push to get those mega money. Canelo's ended up getting the mega money by taking his time. He was the first one that was brave enough to say no to Turkey. And then
respectfully.
I'm out. I do it my way. I'm Canelo. And I think that's probably what Tank's saying with this. I know somebody just said there that he wants to take some time away and just be a normal person. But if he does that, I don't see him coming back to. He's right now. He's at the peak of his career. He's a killer in the ring. Yeah, fair enough. We can question some of his previous opponents recently and where he should be going. But I genuinely feel like the money at some point is going to be too big to turn down.
It's an interesting poser, especially if Turkey Al Sheikh, offers similar kind of money that Canelo gets, and I know for a fact that Tank is one of them that thinks he's worth just as much.
No, I mean he is Mr. Neutral. He's worth that much. Like I'm not like disagreeing with that. I'm saying that he's a brilliant character. He's funny, charismatic.
Yeah, I like Tank.
inside and outside the ring. You know, he has that aura about him. When he steps in the ring, he becomes like this force, right?
Funny wee
But
guy.
yeah, exactly. He's a funny guy, and in the ring, he's a fucking dog. So we
Yeah,
want to see him fight these fights, and then if you want to retire after that, cool. I understand Remy said he's been fighting for 20 years, which I mean, I understand it's a hard sport,
yeah.
but if you want to set up your family for life, then this is the opportunity, man. Saudi money, this is the opportunity to do that. So let's do it.
Yeah, I think I agree with Brett. It's a tactic we've seen before. I think he's gonna, make the powers that be that have the finances to run that. He's gonna make them break the bank.
He's
To get
gonna
him.
play hard. He's basically
Yeah,
playing hard to get.
exactly.
That's what
I
he's
think
doing.
that's it, and it'll
Yeah.
work because I think it will work. It worked with Canelo when Turkey sort of went away with his tail between his legs, and lo and behold, comes back with mega bucks. So, in the interest of 135 in the American market, he'd be a fool not to at some point.
And neutral. Turkey
Yeah.
has much more money to make with Tank specifically. So I think that's another aspect of it that people, it's like, they brush by it. Like that's almost me like pointing out the obvious, but like that's a very big factor in it. Tank still has at least maybe 4 or 5 good years in him. Turkey could get him all of those fights we named if he wanted, and that's a lot of money getting generated.
You're talking if potentially, you're looking at a billionaire in Tank for over 5 years. The Turkey shake.
Yeah.
If they
I
have
would,
a round
say
robin
so.
from 135 to 140, and like I love what's really great about
there's
what
too much
Turkey's
talent
doing.
at 135 not to make that money, if you know what I mean.
But look,
You
what
can
he's
go
doing
through
with
that division.
Devin and Ryan is very, very, that type of stuff needs to happen. Okay, we're gonna match you guys up. We got 2 fights set up for y'all. Then we're gonna make that mega fight with y'all. We know you guys are gonna go over here and do this. The organization that Jean-Pierre was saying that's gonna come from the activity. That's the thing I love the most about what Turkey's doing, because these guys are not gonna be idle. They're not gonna have any reason to not be working. We're gonna get fighters that are coming out more fresher and better because they're actually training all year. They're actually getting fights. They're actually making money. So I think that, that's gonna. I feel like that's gonna set a spark in all of them to, kind of it become a well-oiled machine, and things kind of go back to how they used to be, where we're getting a lot more fight cards.
Absolutely. Well, let's give the last few minutes of the show to last night's action. Arnold Barbosa versus Jack Carroll. As we know, Barbosa becomes the new WBO welterweight interim champion, light welterweight interim champion. Very emotional for him, as we've seen in the post-fight pictures and camera. It meant a lot to him. I was pleased for him. The right man won at the end of the day, gentlemen. Brett, suitably impressed. I mean, Jack Harrell, he's a class act even on his worst day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good enough.
No, and it was great for the narrative of foreign fighters getting robbed on home soil. It was nice that it was nice that the right man won, and the judges got it right. I mean, I had it could have been further away, but I had 7-5 in favor of Barbosa. So he deserved to win it. I mean, Jack just don't know. Did you think he looked a little bit flat? Like
totally agree.
He just didn't seem he could get really going. And don't get me wrong, the one pot shot that he had, his backhand was nice every once in a while. But he was just trying one shot.
Singles. Very few combinations. I think I've seen about 2 combinations only. I think it was about round 5. It was a beautiful jab left that he got. Yeah. He really put through it. I thought Barbosa just ate those punches, Brett.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't scared of him. He just, like you said, he just kept walking forward. He didn't get no respect at any point. Did Jack do? But I think Jack will wake up, as any fighter would do. I mean, it's a patronising statement, really, but he'll wake up and really kick himself, because if the percentages of more output, if Jack wasn't great last night and we've only got it me and you have only got it 7-5, then it wasn't a lot more that we needed to see for him to get a result. So
exactly, like you said, you look back on that picture on that round too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh, missed that. Oh shit. It would have gone on and on and on because the openings were there, but
it kind of reminded what he did in the first Taylor fight. I felt like in the second half of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of
reminiscent of that, of course, but Barbosa, I thought we'd done a lot better than John Taylor, not being funny, notorious, great win for Barbosa. Let's bring in your thoughts about, Teofimo Lopez. Do you feel that now he's got his mandatory and Arnold Barbosa, do you think that's going to finally make his mind up on his future now?
Yeah, I feel like this win meant so much to him. You saw in the aftermath of the fight, the man he was crying and he was showing all these emotions. So even though it was an interim belt, it meant so much to him. He did his thing. I feel like Barbosa was much more bigger than Jack Hatfield in that ring. Like he was huge, you know. And I have to agree with Brett. I had it 7-5 to Barbosa just about. I feel like Jack was he was loading up on his punches too much, and he wasn't really he wasn't moving as he normally would do, and trying to make his opponent miss. So yeah, that's where I would say the fight was won and lost. But yeah, Barbosa, I think the Lopez fight is a really really good fight. Because as we saw in yesterday's performance, he didn't really take a backward step. He was there. He didn't have much respect for Jack's power or anything. And he was very very aggressive throughout the whole fight. So yeah, I think that's the fight that he should target next, because I think if Castro won, I think that was the fight that they were going to have. So I think Teofimo Lopez with Arnold Barboza Jr. should be the next fight in Alcatraz.
Yeah, Jav's just said that. Could that be the next Alcatraz fight? Barbosa Jr. versus Teofimo
Yeah, I'll see that
on the island, guys. What do you think?
I'll see that definitely.
That would be a smart fight. Barbosa is a California guy. It would be in the Bay Area.
God, of course.
I did think that was a bit sideshowish to be at Alcatraz. I was like, what the hell? What the hell's going on?
But absolutely, because Golden Boy gave Barbosa a message just before the Caro fight, Brett, saying it should be successful. There's a big fight coming your way.
Yeah.
Could this be it?
You know what? I'm all right with it. I mean, I want that fight for him after his performance last night.
But in Alcatraz Island.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm all right with it. I don't mind it.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
I don't want it to become a thing that then we're fucking doing it on the moon or whatever. Like, I don't want it to be. I don't want
pyramids and all the wonders of the world could be.
Yeah, be fun, and it will get so much world traction, won't it? It will get just like your non-boxing
anything like that.
Yeah,
boxing badly needs new ideas, new innovations, new ways of thinking to bring, millions of fans in every day.
Let's be real. No one in the boxing space on X or any other platform, thought about Alcatraz. It has to be someone on the team, like the Riyadh team, or yes, someone who comes up with these kind of crazy ideas to then go on and say, listen, we need to have a fight Alcatraz, we need to have a fight here, there, and everywhere. I think like if you have a fight in the pyramids, and it's brilliant. I mean, boxing is always looking to outdo UFC, and I think this is one of the ways that they can outdo UFC in a way. So I think it's a brilliant idea. And then, Barboza and Lopez at that venue, they're both kind of eccentric characters. So I think it'll be a great fight.
It's either that or Rikers Island. But look, guys, next week, February 22nd, it's the big
The
card.
last crescendo.
Just before we finish off, is there any of your predictions from last week's show? Have you changed your minds? You're all set. Staying with the same predictions.
Yep. I got Caballero, Parker.
Brett, I go on.
Overall, I
saw
sticking with him.
I saw a prediction by someone on X, and it was like the most sensible I've seen. So every fight was a decision, and the Zhang and Cabell fight was a TKO for Cabell. That was like the most sensible I've seen it so far.
All right, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I listen to people more knowledgeable than me that say that Daniel Dubois is gonna wipe Parker out in the first 5 rounds. He's gonna go on killer mode. But I've stuck my neck out and see, look, I've stuck my neck out on the line, and I'm gonna stick with my predictions from last week. How about that? I'm not gonna change.
Sticking to stick, no twist.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick
on
as
that, guys.
I'm gonna stick as well.
Fantastic stuff, Remy. Barbosa, Teal, Rikers Island. Sorry, Alcatraz.
Alcatraz.
Get my jails mixed up.
Wrong prison.
The wrong prison, baby. Yeah. All good in your eyes. Top rank event. But sorry, did I say top rank? Right.
It would be a Riyadh ring event.
Will it be? So it will be Riyadh season and not a top rank.
Yeah, ring magazine fight.
Yeah,
but to be honest, I don't really think T.O.'s gonna fight him, bro. I really don't. I don't think. I
think he's going to do a nice sneaky move and bloody move up. Brian Norman Jr. Super champ status. But that's just me. But guys, thank you very much. You guys have to join us next week for February 22nd Aftermath. Where else do you want to be? At HardTalk USA.
Of course, we're going to be there, no doubt.
There's going to be tons of us, so we'll do a special next week. And I'll keep the professionals out of next week, and I want all the top X guys. So yeah, we're going to chop up Bevel, Floyd Schofield, Daniel Dubois.
He said Floyd Schofield. I'm not gonna lie, Shakur looks so focused, neutral. I'm almost.
He looks pissed off, doesn't he, Remy? He looks so pissed at him.
Floyd Schofield, bro.
But I've got to stick with that, Remy. I'm a man of my word, and I'll look at Phil now to change my mind after nearly 2 years supporting this guy. But I wish them both the best of luck for next weekend, as of course all the matchups. Make sure they get home safe and sound afterwards, so we can talk about them in positive fashion next Sunday. HardTalk USA. So look to everyone that's tuned in, to everyone, my guest Jean-Pierre as well, who was with us for a good deal. Great guy. Hope he does well, and hope he comes back in April, May, June, somewhere around then. And we would love to see him in the UK against a top guy. He's a top fella. Keeps himself busy, and I like that. Good work ethic. But look, guys, once again, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I'm Mr. Neutral. This is HardTalk USA. See you next week.